I quit a job because of a woman's tattoos. I've spent weeks trying to figure out what happened. I've spent the drive home and most of the weeks since then trying to figure out what actually happened. I want to be honest with myself, which is harder than it sounds when the honest version is not particularly flattering. I started in February. Diane had been there since December, which meant she had this small seniority advantage of someone who'd already figured out where things were kept and who the owners preferred to handle which accounts. She was competent, clearly liked, and fine. In every sense, I had no issue with her whatsoever until the weather changed and she came in with her arms uncovered. The tattoos were extensive, full sleeves, geometric and floral, the kind that represent significant commitment in both time and money and pain. I had a reaction to them that I'm going to try to describe accurately. It wasn't disgust exactly. It was more like displacement, of a strong sense that something was wrong with the picture, that a professional environment had a particular appearance and this wasn't it, and that someone should say something since apparently no one else was going to. I said something. She told me workplace norms were changing and that this particular workplace didn't have a policy against it. I said they were unprofessional regardless, and that was that, which I now understand was the moment I should have stopped and didn't. I kept bringing it up. I talked to myself about it when she wouldn't engage. I mentioned it to the 3 senior women, who were polite and non-committal in the way of people who are waiting for you to figure something out yourself. I understood that none of them agreed with me, and I interpreted this as a failure of standards rather than as information about my own position. There was a day in the break room when she interrupted me mid-sentence and said the thing nobody had said directly yet, which was that my focus on her skin was weird. Not rude, not inappropriate. Weird. The word landed differently than I expected. I went back to my desk and sat with it and didn't like what I found when I examined it. The installation was when everything finished unraveling. It was hot and cramped and we were told to dress in layers. By mid-morning she was down to a tank top and I could see everything. The full extent of it. Sleeves and edges of others, color and line. The whole committed permanent record of a set of choices she'd made about her own body over what must have been years. I said something. I said several things. The owner came over and the situation was explained to her and she shut me down in about 4 sentences. The clearest of which was, I hired her for her skill, not her skin. An hour later I was in a car with the owner and the HR person on her day off, which is the workplace equivalent of being asked to step outside. I understood in that car what the last several months had actually looked like from the outside. I joined a small team of 6 and spent 4 months making one person's daily experience unpleasant over something that had nothing to do with her work, or mine, or the actual functioning of the place we both showed up to do a job. I said I couldn't continue to work for an unprofessional organization, which was the last available version of the position I'd been holding. Then I got in my car. I've thought about what I was actually reacting to. The most honest answer I can give is that I had a very fixed picture of what professional looked like, built over 30 years of working in places where certain things were true and others weren't, and Diane didn't fit the picture. The picture was mine. She didn't owe me conformity to it. The workplace had already decided, correctly, that her skill was the relevant thing, and I spent 4 months arguing with that decision instead of just doing my job. I wrote the Glassdoor review, which I'm less proud of than I was when I posted it. The thing Jane said stayed with me, not because it was complicated but because it wasn't. Skill, not skin. 4 words. The whole argument resolved in 4 words, and I was the only person in the building who'd needed to hear them. When I'm interviewing again, I'm thinking carefully about what I'm actually looking for, and trying to tell the difference between standards that matter and the picture I built that I was calling standards. They're not the same thing. I should have known that before June.